Welcome, everyone, to the inaugural Chesterfield Earth Day Festival here at the Fairgrounds. As you can see, we are live and in color. We've got a lot of great guests for you. We'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. But first, I just want to tell you that there's a lot going on here today. If you are able to come down, please feel free. The event is from 10 to 2 down here at the Fairgrounds. So if you're able, come on out. There's lots of vendors, lots of stuff for the kids, lots of stuff for the family. Now, if you are so inclined to just hang out with us here on Facebook Live, we'll be here for the next, hour and change, 2 hours, something like that. We're going to have a number of guests for you to talk to today, hear from. Think about it almost like a telethon. I'm going to have some guests. We're going to play some videos. We're going to talk about Earth Day, which is obviously the focus of this event. And to get started, I want to welcome Emily Ashley, who is the Director of Citizen Information and Resources. Emily, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Brad. I'm great. How are you this morning?
Look, the thing's off the ground, so that's a good step in the right direction.
It is.
Obviously, a lot going on here today with this event, the first of these types, I guess, in Chesterfield. And I just wanted to get you here for a quick second to kick it off and kind of talk a little bit about how this event came to be and sort of what the thought process was in putting it all together.
Thanks, Brad. So we have over 30 vendors here today to talk about recycling, to talk about things that you can do outside, how to be engaged with your family outside, and ways to volunteer. So that's really how this event came about. We wanted people to know of all of the great things in environmental stewardship that the county does, not with our own county departments, but with our partners as well. So we decided to have this Earth Day Festival. We know Earth Day is actually next Saturday,
right.
But we wanted people to be able to know ways that they could be engaged a week out.
Right.
So we have people can get their herbs and plants today,
Right. Yep.
and find ways of classes that they can be a part of,
Right.
and think you can paint a dumpster. And
Who doesn't want to paint a dumpster?
right? Who doesn't want their handprint forever on a dumpster? And also ways with the county switching their recycling program,
Right.
we have our recycling providers out here today that they can learn more firsthand from the providers. So it's just a great way of how our residents in Chesterfield can be engaged in environmental stewardship.
Good deal. Well, Emily, thank you very much. You'll be back later on.
I will.
And we will have another guest for you here in just a second.
Okay, thank you.
We are now joined by Mr. Kevin Carroll from the Matoka District, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors. Mr. Carroll, how are you?
I am good. Glad to be here today.
Very glad to have you. Appreciate you coming by the show, the table, the corner of the exhibition hall here. Before we get started kind of talking through some of the things that folks are going to kind of be experiencing today, I just want to get your opinion on like how nice it is to have something like this. This is not something that Chesterfield's done before. At some point today, I'm going to call this the first annual, but it's not. That's not a thing that exists, right? It's the inaugural. What does this mean, do you think, to Chesterfield to have an event like this for Earth Day?
Well, I think it's important to make sure that the community knows that Chesterfield County is, at the core tenet of what we do. Environmental stewardship and protecting our environment is something that we're very serious about.
Right.
If you look all through the different parts of the county's departments, whether you go through our websites, our Facebook pages,
right,
you will see we touch base on this in so many different ways. I mean, our fleet, as an example, I think I'm right on this. Yeah, our fleet was voted the 42nd greenest fleet in the entire United States last year.
Yep. Craig Willingham, very happy, very proud of the work that Fleet has done in that respect.
Yep.
And then obviously conservation, which is a big part of Earth Day in general, right? Taking care of the earth. Conservation, parks, trails, those kinds of things are central, it seems, to what Chesterfield is all about. And certainly on the Board of Supervisors, you guys have worked really hard to not only take care of the land, but to conserve it as much as possible, especially in your district.
Well, we have, and we've actually expanded some environmental opportunities. We purchased a Greenwood property down on Chesterfield Avenue, which is going to now become part of our park system. We're getting ready to have a community meeting on the Winterpark Park, which is right there at Beach Road. That's going to be a trailhead that'll open up for people to be able to use.
Right.
We are, as you know, I'm the chair of the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, and one of our biggest projects that we passed first was the Fall Line Trail, which, again, is going to be another great opportunity for people to exercise and go outdoors and be part of the community.
Right.
And then with the Lego Group announcement we had the other day, they're going to have a solar facility that will offset their electric footprint, and they've committed to planting replacement trees for the 4,000 trees that they cut down. They are now going to plant them somewhere else in Chesterfield County. I mean, that's just pretty amazing stuff.
Absolutely. I know for the folks who are going to come down here today to the fairgrounds and hang out with us from 10 to 2, one of the things that's a big part of this event is having all the different recycling vendors out. Folks can ask questions, they can get information. And I'm just curious to get your sort of point of view on those recycling changes that are coming to Chesterfield this year. That obviously that's a point of a lot of information, right, that we want to convey to folks. And I'm just curious to get your thoughts on that process and what that means for the folks at Chesterfield.
So a couple of things. Back in 2008, when they had to do budget cuts, they actually shut down our southern area landfill and northern area landfill 2 days a week. We're going to restore those to being open 7 days a week.
Right.
We're also going to make a bypass lane for people who want to recycle, so they don't have to wait in the line to get in there. And recycling is free at the recycling centers for anybody who wants to do that. But, you know, when the county was faced with renegotiating our contract with CWMA, you know, we looked at what it was going to cost us, and when we calculated it out, we realized that, quite frankly, the private sector could provide that service at much cheaper than what we would have had to build a community for.
Right.
And we would have had to increase, you know, at the time people were paying like $42 a year for recycling, and that actually would have went up to almost $200 a year.
Right.
And so we certainly encourage people to look at the private industry to do the recycling, but if you don't want to, you can come bring it to the southern area landfill and northern area landfill and recycle for free.
Yep. Well, Mr. Carroll, I know you got a lot to do today. I really appreciate the time for you stopping by and talking to us for a few minutes. For folks at home, you're going to watch a little video Mr. Carroll mentioned a minute ago, environmental stewardship and how much of a focal point that is for Chesterfield. Take a look at this video for us. Thank you, Mr. Carroll.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's actually a very special place. When you think about the history of the Appomattox River, when you think about the settlement that was created in Ettrick, the acquisition that Capital Region Land Conservancy shepherded and have been partnered with the county has helped to acquire about 40 acres. It's an opportunity to take back the land and restore it to more of a natural area while respecting its history, and to give access to the population to be able to come down to the river again. There's a lot of ecology. There's a lot of biodiversity. There's about 500 species that are right in this general area. So the fact that we're able to save this area for the wildlife, bring the public access to it, and interpret the history has so many layers when you think about travelers who will go to destinations to be able to get outdoors. This is the perfect destination site.
I was approached by the county about a walking trail along the river, and asked if I would sell them that walking trail. We see eagles down there, we see otter, we see beaver, muskrat, deer, we got bobcat down in there, we got coyotes, you name it, we got it down on that property. And since I've always been an environmentalist and been an outside person, that's only right that we share that. And I've contributed quite a bit to the county for them to be able to purchase it. My wife and I are just overjoyed that all of the citizens of Chesterfield County will be able to enjoy something that we, as a family, have privately enjoyed for the last 35, 40 years.
So we're using what's called a power purchase agreement, which is a contract to install solar panels on our facilities. And so far we have 16 facilities identified for solar panels. And what that does will allow us to offset some of the energy costs. The good thing about this project is that there's no upfront cost. The vendor is supplying the panels, and if there's any maintenance that needs to be done, really a great win-win opportunity for us to be able to help with the sustainability program, but also be able to get electricity at a cheaper cost. And also, it's a clean energy source. There's no carbon emissions from it. We're capturing the sun. It aligns with our environmental sustainability and stewardship program. It's the right thing to do, and it's a great educational opportunity.
So the LG Sonic unit, it's a technology that's been developed to help us monitor and control blue-green algae. So what it does is it has sensors on it that allow us to get real-time data on water quality. In addition to that, it also sends out ultrasound at specific frequencies to prevent the blue-green algae from overgrowing. Because blue-green algae can cause taste and odors, and they can also cause microtoxins in the water. So to try to control them is to the benefit of Chesterfield County. The unit that we got this year is special in the fact that it can go up and down the water column. It can go down all the way down to the bottom of the reservoir. So being able to go throughout the water column gives us a better picture of what's going on with blue-green algae. It is called vertical profiling. And this is actually the first one that's been installed in the United States.
I coordinate the Adopt a Spot program where volunteers can sign up to pick small sections of roadway, a neighborhood, to help keep litter cleaned up. We'll supply bags, vests, and the grabbers. We even collect the bags after they pick it up. It just helps. It keeps litter out of the drain and keeps our stormwaters clean. Anything that's thrown out in the street and roadways heading to some kind of water source, we want to keep it out of the rivers and the streams. I really enjoy when the volunteers take pride in their own communities. Working with the public in that aspect is very rewarding. To help control the litter throughout the county, in 2022, the programs we managed collected over 130 tons of litter and debris. I thought that was a pretty significant number.
I am very glad to welcome Liz Pittleman from Master Gardeners to the show. Liz, how are you?
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
I appreciate you coming down. Obviously, there's a lot of focus with Earth Day and the idea of like what we put into the ground and what we get out of it. And I think it's a kind of natural fit for you guys to be represented at an event like this. And the Earth is kind of y'all's jam, right? So it's what y'all do.
Yeah,
and I kind of want to start here because I know you guys have a help desk, actually.
Yes, we do.
That can help people sort of get information. I'm just curious, how does that work and what kind of information can people get from that help desk?
The Master Gardener program was started back in 1972 because the Agricultural and Natural Resources agent was busy with the farms and the commercial area.
Right.
So they started training citizens in horticulture so they can answer horticultural questions from the community. And that's what our help desk does. Is we answer horticultural questions. What's that bug? Why is my plant dying? What should I do about this? You know, there's all kinds of things. Last year, the pandemic slowed things down a bit. But last year, there were 437 people that got answers. Yeah. And they are science-based answers. Okay. They're not just, your grandmother's solution. They are research, science-based, horticultural, factual information.
Yep. Now,
and it's free.
What's the time frame of when people can call that? When is that line active?
Whenever the VCE office is open. There's an email, which is vce@chesterfield.gov. Okay. They can email anytime, send pictures, whatever, ask questions. Right. The office is open from, I think it's 8:30 until 4. Cool. The Master Gardeners are there 3 days a week. Right. Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and Friday morning. And then we do virtual on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Great. So we try to get the answer to the clients. And there is a lab there at the Chesterfield office that is actually a regional lab for the area. It's not just Chesterfield. Cool. So they can diagnose diseases and, fungus and all that stuff. Right. So, yeah, it's fabulous.
That's great. I know, obviously, it makes sense to, if you have a question that you want to get an actual answer as opposed to just sort of winging it because you don't want to do anything bad with your soil. You don't want to waste your plants. You obviously don't want to do anything bad for the environment, especially as we talk about Earth Day and that kind of stuff. I'm just curious, as a Master Gardener, as a group, the kinds of things you guys offer, because it seems like every time I turn around, there's something new that Master Gardeners is doing that I didn't expect or didn't understand that they did. And I'm just curious to kind of talk a little bit about sort of the kinds of things Master Gardeners do for folks who may not understand what that program is all about.
Master Gardeners are educators. We have demonstration gardens. Actually, the demonstration garden over at the VCE office with the Central Library is fabulous. I mean, they have all kinds of different gardens there to view and look at. We have Saturday morning in the garden, at the first Saturday of every month, unless it's raining. We always have like an hour program on some subject, so anybody can come by and talk to any of the Master Gardeners that are working in the garden. We do educational programs. We had 56 educational events like this one. We have had over 100 presentations. The Master Gardeners are giving seminars and presentations on various things, from sustainability to composting to vegetables to pollinator gardens, you name it, the gamut runs.
Now, in terms of, before we let you go, I want to get a sense of like anything that you guys have going on soon that you might want to let the people know about, anything specific.
There is a composting plant at the Central Library from 10 to noon on April the 22nd. And then on May the 6th, there are seminars at the Central Library for regenerative gardening and tomatoes. Tomatoes are a big deal.
I bet. Absolutely.
Most of our questions in the summertime are about tomatoes.
Good deal. Real quick, plug the help desk. I don't know, did we give the number earlier?
It's 804-751-4401. If you want to call, the easiest thing is just send us an email. You can do it at your leisure, and it comes right in, and then we go into the office and we start answering the questions.
There you go.
Doing the research.
Good deal. Well, Liz, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Folks at home, you're going to be able to along those same lines, right, with the Master Gardeners, what we put into the soil. Check out this video on best fertilizer practices and what you need to know going into the spring and summer.
Hello, I'm Lauren Field, Environmental Outreach Coordinator for Chesterfield County. The Environmental Engineering Department encourages residents to use good housekeeping practices at home to protect the county's waterways. Landscaping and lawn care practices can have an adverse effect on local streams and lakes if not done with care. Improper use of fertilizers can result in polluted runoff that produces algal blooms, reduced water quality, and harm to wildlife. Today we'll be talking to Sierra Athey and Charlie Morgan with the Chesterfield Cooperative Extension Office about ways to care for your lawn that prevent fertilizer runoff.
Before you purchase fertilizer, you'll want to get a soil test so you know exactly what the nutrient needs are for your lawn.
You should first get a soil sample collected so that when they get the results back, they'll know exactly how much fertilizer, what type to put down. If you're collecting samples for your yard, you want to collect multiple samples around your yard, up to 5 or 6 or even 10 samples, and composite those samples, mix them all together and fill up the soil sample bags. We want to get down to the first 6 inches of the soil, so we're going to press down here and try to dig up as much as we can. We want to get some of this, much of this topsoil as we can into the bag as well. Taking all the big chunks out, some big clods out. We'll mix it up. We can use a trowel, you can use your hand. Get any rocks or roots, get those out of there. And we want to fill it up to the fill line, which is marked on the outside of the box right here. And you would put your name on the outside of the box. And with the form, mail it to Virginia Tech. The address is on the side of the box, and the analysis will come back to you. And a copy of the results are going to come to the Extension Office. So if you have any questions about the results, once you get them back, you can call the Extension Office.
Yes, so on your soil test, it's going to give you how many pounds of fertilizer you should put down per 1,000 square feet. So knowing the area of your lawn is going to tell you exactly how much fertilizer you're going to need, which can end up saving you money.
fertilizer should be based on what the recommendations are from the soil test. So it'll tell you exactly how much of the different components you need in the fertilizer. The back of the bag and the guaranteed analysis will tell you what's in the bag exactly, and you'll look for one that says slow release fertilizer. They tell you the percentage of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that's in the bag. You want to get the one that's most closely matches the soil test results that you get back. If you see one that's got phosphorus in it, you want to avoid those. It's actually illegal to put phosphorus on an existing lawn in Virginia. You can use it on a newly established lawn, or if you're repairing a lawn, or if the soil test results say you actually need phosphorus.
You should apply it based off of the rate that it tells you on your soil test results.
A drop spreader is a good way to do it. You use the measured amount that's recommended for your lawn, put it in the hopper, and slowly walk across the lawn to deliver it.
Before you apply fertilizer with your drop spreader, you're going to want to calibrate it, and you should do this on an annual basis.
You want to keep the fertilizer about 15 feet away from any water body, perennial stream, or even a storm drain.
You don't want to apply fertilizer before heavy rains. This could cause the fertilizer to be swept into the waterways instead of slowly going into your lawn like it should. If you should happen to get fertilizer on your driveway or other impervious surface, you'll want to sweep it back onto your lawn. The best time to fertilize your lawn depends on what type of grass you have. There are cool season and there are warm season lawns. Warm season lawns are Bermuda and zoysia grass, and these you should apply fertilizer beginning in May in the summer. If you have a cool season lawn, it's usually fescue, and that's the most common type of lawn. You apply fertilizer in the fall, in September, October, and November. Some other things you can do is you can core aerate, and this will help relieve compaction in your soils. So this increases air, water, and nutrient penetration. It's recommended you mow your fescue lawns at 2.5 to 3 inches. If you have zoysia and Bermuda, you want to mow your lawn at 1 to 1.5 inches.
It's also a great time to apply lime if it's required by the soil test, as well as if you're low on organic matter. It's a good way to get organic matter directly into the soil.
Through one of our programs, a trained master gardener will come to your lawn. They'll take a soil test. They'll note the conditions such as weeds, your grass type, what type of soil you have. Then based off of those results, a urban nutrient management planner will write you a personalized plan. And in that plan, it'll tell you exactly how many pounds of fertilizer you need to apply and when you need to apply it.
First of all, don't put it in the trash. The best way to dispose of it is to hold on to it and reuse it the next time you fertilize. If you find that you're not going to be able to use it, the best thing to do is take it to a county convenience center for proper disposal.
Thank you for watching. For more information, visit chesterfield.gov/makeadifference or call 804-748-1035. Be on the lookout for future videos demonstrating ways you can manage stormwater at home to protect the county's waterways.
I'm very glad to be welcomed by Deputy County Administrator Clay Bowles. Clay, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks for having me here.
I appreciate you coming by. Obviously, this kind of event, something that's new to the county, something that I think has kind of been in the back of people's minds for a while. Seemed like the right kind of thing to do. Emily was talking earlier about sort of, wanting to do these kinds of events, these kinds of opportunities to bring the public out, bring the community together, that kind of thing, and share great information about, preserving the environment, doing things to help the environment. Just from your standpoint, before we get into the meat and potatoes here, what do you like about this kind of event for the community?
Well, Brad, I think it's really a great opportunity to showcase what the county does in environmental stewardship.
Yep.
Highlight our commitment to the environment.
Yep.
I think a lot of things can sometimes happen behind the scenes, but it's events like these that really give us a chance to educate people.
Right.
But also, this is all about partnerships, too. This is not just a bunch of county departments out here. This is vendor community.
22 vendors, I think, here today.
22, that's correct. Advocacy groups. So it's really putting the program on display.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of information and sort of being able to share that with folks, I know that one of the things in terms of an environmental stewardship piece of things is that the county has obviously had a lot of decisions to make when it came to recycling, how the county was going to deal with the CVWMA contract, and how the county was going to go about sort of solving that problem that was kind of baked into the contract ending. And I just want to kind of walk through a little bit of how those decisions were made and sort of the thought process. Because again, if folks come down here to the fairground, they're going to be able to talk to the various vendors. I think all of them are here, who the private haulers and folks who are going to take over that recycling piece of the puzzle for Chesterfield. But if we can go back a little bit, I'm just curious. Take me through a little bit of sort of the ins and outs of how those changes were forced upon the county and how the county decided to sort of walk that path.
Okay. Well, recycling is obviously an important part of our environmental stewardship efforts. It's a key piece. And this change is really about a program model transition.
Right.
The county since 2010 has operated under more of a subscription type model where residents can choose whether to participate in the program or not. And with this CVWMA contract coming to an end July 1, we've been really looking at this topic for years in advance of that, trying to figure out what the best options were for the county and for citizens, and continue to encourage recycling. Again, since we've kind of had this subscription approach for a long time, we wanted to see how we could continue to leverage that going forward.
Right.
We participated in the CVWMA's procurement process. We asked for a subscription approach.
Right.
And we did receive one bid on that, but the price came back at a little over $200 per household per year.
Right.
So our research had indicated that we had private haulers here in the county that are fully capable of providing this service at really about half that cost.
Right.
So it felt like moving in that direction was the right way to go.
Right.
And being not continuing in a middleman approach, we can let the private sector do what it does best, connect citizens with the haulers that they prefer, and let them have that direct relationship.
Right. And then obviously, because of the fact that there are some people who already do their trash through a third-party hauler, having a possibility of bundling those services together certainly opened up a lot of avenues too, that the private sector, the third party, can really do better than maybe the county can. How has that sort of processed that relationship between those haulers? Because it feels like every time I heard about it, there was another one or two that got added to the list. How has that relationship, that process been so far?
Yeah, well, I think to your first point, the opportunity to bundle services was particularly attractive to us. We are, I think, in the region, we were unique that we had already had a lot of large neighborhoods go to a private approach, bundling their services as an HOA, and I want to say we had somewhere around 8,000 households that had already done that in some of the largest communities. So again, that was really an attractive option to try to do that. But you're right. I think as of today, we've got 5 companies that are planning to offer recycling services. All of them are implementing in a little bit of a different way.
Right.
But they're geared up, ready to go, be available for citizens July 1.
Right.
I think the transition is going well. I mean, it's a new program, so there's going to be some growing pains here and there, but we've really tried hard to listen to citizens when they call us with questions and feed that information back to the haulers. So if there's areas that are unclear or they maybe need to stress a little bit more, that we're letting them know that so they can answer what's on people's minds.
Right. Speaking of answering that, before we move on, I just want to real quick, if folks do have questions, what's the best way for them to get those answers? Who's the best person to contact? Give them the info.
Yeah, so I would encourage people to visit chesterfield.gov/recycling. We have set that up as really a one-stop shop for everything you could want to know on this transition. There's information on how to contact the haulers. There's in-depth information about the process that led to this change. So there's just a wealth of information there, as well as contact information for the county, so we can answer questions that people have.
Now, in terms of other aspects of this, environmental stewardship, obviously a very important thing for Chesterfield. From your time with General Services before you became a deputy county administrator, I know that was obviously a very big focus for your group. I guess I kind of want to get your opinion on how important that stewardship is, not just to Chesterfield, but to the workforce, to everybody who actually is in the trenches, so to speak, right? Who's like doing the work, because it feels like that is a real focal point here in ways that maybe a lot of places it's just not that way.
It really is, Brad. I think I really think it's really just ingrained in the way we do business. It's not it's not an afterthought or something we're having to add in. We think about that up front. And it's not, I think the thing that's especially great about our programs are they're not just regulatory compliance.
Right.
And obviously we have to do that, and we do that well, but these are proactive efforts. And I think also too, particularly proud, it really covers the gamut of our operations. There's lots of departments involved, not only general services, but utilities, environmental engineering, community enhancement with litter collection. So it's, I think, again, it's really just the way we do business. And we're thinking about those things from the get-go.
Good deal. Well, Clay, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time today.
Appreciate
Folks
it.
at home, we're going to play a little video for you here talking about properly disposing of yard waste, which is obviously an important part of the puzzle in terms of conserving the environment as well.
Do you have leaves and yard waste piling up in your yard? Before you bag them up, consider this. Leaves, grass clippings, and branches contain lots of nutrients your yard can use. Instead of throwing them away, you can turn them into mulch and compost. Grass clippings can be applied in a thin layer across gardens and planting beds as a mulch. This will retain moisture and control weeds. Leaves can be shredded with a lawnmower and left on the ground. You can do this several times during the fall instead of bagging them. They will break down quickly and return nutrients to your soil. Bulk leaves can be composted by adding water and grass clippings. The compost can be used in gardens and planting beds too. If you do need to dispose of your leaves and yard waste, they can be taken to the yard waste areas at the Chesterfield County Convenience Centers. Leaves and yard debris cannot be dumped or blown into storm drains and drainage ditches. This can impact water quality and cause flooding, and it's against the law. To report unlawful discharges to the storm sewer system, call 804-717-6161. Thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for more videos about how you can prevent stormwater pollution.
have shared all kinds of information with you today. You might be wondering what we do with Constituent Media Services and all kinds of ways that you can maybe get in touch with us, right? Some information that you might be able to share. So how about watch this video and find out how you can find out more about Chesterfield County. From blogs to podcasts, and I'm very glad to tell you that Chesterfield Behind the Mic is on the air once again. Newsletters to alerts, social media, the latest community news.
Welcome to the latest installment of This Week in Chesterfield.
How to get in touch, and everything in between. If you want to know about Chesterfield County, our Connect With Us webpage has you covered. Chesterfield.gov/connect with us. Connect with us, your source for all things Chesterfield. For our purposes today, we're doing this in case you're just joining us. We are kind of think of this as almost like a telethon style version of the podcast where we're having different guests and things to come kind of talk to us about some environmental stewardship, environmental friendly sort of topics. Right now, I've got Jeff Howard from General Services. Jeff, how are you?
Hey, good day. How you doing?
I appreciate you coming on and coming down to spend some time with us. Obviously, this kind of event is a great opportunity for folks to learn a lot more. The different recycling vendors I know is a place where a lot of folks I think are learning a lot in the last few months, last few weeks, and certainly here today. Now we just had Clay on not too long ago, and he was talking a little bit about sort of the way that the county kind of came to the conclusion of opening things up for the third-party haulers and to work with them to let the folks kind of take the county as the middleman out of the equation. And I'm just curious from the General Services standpoint, what does that kind of mean for your department and for the county as a whole in terms of how recycling will now be handled in Chesterfield?
It's definitely very exciting for us to have 5 vendors instead of 1
right
now. And our focus, as Clay probably mentioned, is to get through the transition here up through June and July. And then we're really going to be focusing on education. We're going to be working with CVWMA on trying to enhance our education efforts.
Right.
Currently, right now, the end markets for recycling products are getting tighter. Vendors want a better product.
Right.
And so contamination has gone up probably from 10 to 15% in the last couple of years.
Right.
So if we can educate our citizens better of what to recycle, they'll get it.
You're right.
We just need to get that education out there.
All right. Now, I know the convenience centers are changing the hours and stuff. Can you kind of walk us through those specific changes and what these changes on another front, the county's also sort of I guess you could say almost like supplementing, if you will, to sort of support those changes, right? So it's going to be easier for folks to get to the convenience centers to recycle and that kind of thing.
Right. As we looked at this transition, we wanted to give our citizens as many options as possible.
Right.
So we're going to be opening the convenience centers from 5 days to 7 days.
Right.
We'll be open 7 to 6 every day.
Right.
And we'll have plenty of front-end load containers where our citizens can recycle. Additionally, here, moving forward after July, we'll also be setting up express lanes.
Okay.
Where citizens can come into the sites. If they only have recycling, it'll be a separate entrance.
Right.
It'll still be monitored, but it'll hopefully promote more recycling at our convenience centers.
Yep. And in terms of staffing, are you guys staffing those any differently once that process starts?
Yeah, so moving from 5 days to 7 days, we'll have to add 8 additional folks.
Right.
And also with the express lanes, we'll be also adding another person as well at each site.
Good deal. Now, before I let you go, I got to talk a little bit about sort of stewardship in general, because as the rep from General Services, obviously that's a very big focal point for the county. Clay talked a lot about sort of how much pride the different departments take. For yours specifically, I'm just curious what that environmental stewardship means to you guys and how seriously you guys take that aspect of things.
Yeah, that's probably our biggest goal is waste diversion.
Yeah.
We try to give our citizens cost-effective waste and recycling options, but diverting things from the landfill is our key goal.
Right.
The state has a mandate of 25%.
Yep.
Right now in our region, we're close to 55%.
Yep.
In Chesterfield, as always, we want to be the leader.
Yep.
So diversion is extremely important for us.
Good deal. Well, Jeff, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and Brad, I got a couple of shout-outs if that's
okay.
Feel
free. Go ahead.
Yeah, we want to thank the Lowe's over on Jeff Davis. They supplied all of our painting supplies for painting our compactor today. All the kids are out there with their handprints, and
cool.
Really appreciate that. And then also, too, our next shred event is September the 9th out at Westchester Commons.
Okay.
Big event for the citizens for paper and electronics.
Good deal. All right. Well, folks at home, again, if you're able, come on out here to the fairgrounds and hang out with us. Lots to do, lots of stuff going on for you and the kids. Right now, I want to send you to a little video talking about water trends. I mean, one of the things about Earth Day is we think a lot about the soil, but it's not just that, right? There are the streams, there are creeks, there are waterways. So watch this video here and get some information on water trends.
Did you know Chesterfield County has nearly 1,300 miles of streams, 3 reservoirs, and about 124 miles of riverfront along the Appomattox and James Rivers? County residents are fortunate to have such an abundance of aquatic resources so close to home. Those water bodies provide drinking water, fishing, boating, and many kinds of recreational opportunities. The Chesterfield County Department of Environmental Engineering is responsible for ensuring those waterways stay clean and safe for residents and wildlife. The county has a variety of monitoring and inspection programs to look for sources of pollution and prevent unauthorized discharges. One of the programs is Chesterfield Water Trends, its official citizen monitoring program. Water Trends volunteers perform a variety of water quality tests that gauge the overall health of the county's waterways. Citizen monitors are trained to monitor a basic suite of parameters that include dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature, and turbidity. Volunteers may also conduct bacterial monitoring to detect sources of fecal contamination. The Chesterfield Water Trends program is currently looking for new volunteers. The program is free of charge and no previous experience is necessary. Volunteers will receive training and test equipment, and monitoring can be done on one's own schedule. For more information, visit our website or call 804-748-1920. Thanks for volunteering.
There's a lot of opportunities for you to do some stuff as well as learn some things, which is what our next guest is all about, Julie Buchanan from CVWMA. Julie, how are you?
Hi, Brad. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us today. Obviously, with the recycling changes coming to Chesterfield and the private haulers kind of becoming a part of that process, I know there are a lot of folks out there who are wondering, so what's the partnership like now with CVWMA? And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on it, hear from you guys, and talk a little bit about sort of where that partnership now goes, and sort of what are some of the ways that the county and CVWMA will continue to work together?
Sure, yeah. That's a long question, but
I'm good at those.
I'll just start off by saying this event today has been amazing.
Oh, great.
We have a table outside. Okay. I've talked to a bunch of residents who really want to continue recycling, and a lot of them have already signed up with one of the private haulers, which is wonderful. We CVWMA just want to make sure that people continue to recycle and understand what a benefit it is to recycle rather than throw everything in the trash in the landfill where it's going to sit forever. So it's great that the Chesterfield residents are getting the message about the change. June 30th is the end of the curbside contract with CVWMA when the private haulers will be taking over. But Chesterfield County is still a member of Central Virginia Waste Management Authority. We serve 13 local governments around the region, and we have a 20-plus member board of directors. And in fact, the chair of our board is from Chesterfield County. So there are multiple members from Chesterfield on our board. We have monthly meetings. We are in contact with Chesterfield County staff daily. We will continue to work on things like electronics recycling with the county and collections for household hazardous waste. Those are special events that we help arrange on the weekend on like a Saturday.
There's a shredding event coming up real soon,
shredding,
right?
Things like that. So we help promote those and help set those up in some cases. A lot of what I do as the public relations coordinator is set up education opportunities and do the outreach.
Yep.
So we are going to be in Chesterfield schools still. Any teacher who's out there can request a free program from us at any time during the school year. We do festivals like this. We're happy to come out and talk to service clubs, neighborhood clubs about the importance of recycling and really waste reduction in general is what we really need to be moving to. As you know, we are consuming more and more and more. More people are moving to our region. Landfill space is not infinite. So recycling is one tool that we have to cut down on waste, but it's not the only tool. And we're excited to continue working with Chesterfield leadership and the residents to convey that message.
Now you mentioned those educational opportunities. Before I let you go, how can folks, if they're a teacher and they want to have that, or if they want to have, maybe they got a club, they want to have you guys come talk to them, what's the best way to get in touch?
So you can send an email to info@cvwma.com. You can also go to our website, cvwma.com, and click on Outreach and Education. There's a tab at the top of the page. So a lot of teachers find us that way, and you can do a form right on the site to request a program.
Good deal. Well, Julie, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad. Have a great day.
Thank you. Now, obviously, there's a lot that goes into Earth Day. There's a lot of information, a lot of education, to Julie's point earlier. Take a look at this video, talking a little about sort of like how to properly dispose of hazardous household waste.
Do you know what's in your shed? Household products that we use every day can accumulate over time and may no longer be useful. Some of them can be hazardous and cannot be disposed of in your household trash. These include oil-based paints, pesticides, herbicides, solvents, cleaners, automotive fluids, and batteries. These materials need to be disposed of properly to protect your health and property and the environment. They cannot be poured on the ground where rain can cause them to run off to waterways, and they can never be poured in storm drains. Chesterfield County offers free disposal services for a variety of household hazardous waste at its convenience centers. Latex paint can be mixed with cat litter, sawdust, or mulch and allowed to dry. It can then be put in your household trash. Oil-based paints can be taken to the convenience centers on special drop-off days. Check the county calendar for the next oil-based paint disposal event. For more information about household hazardous waste, including proper ways to dispose of them, call the Chesterfield County Waste and Resource Recovery Office at 804-748-1297 or visit our website. Be on the lookout for more videos about ways you can prevent stormwater pollution.
I've got Neil Luther, who is the Director of Parks and Recreation, with me today. Neil, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate you coming by. Obviously, Earth Day is an interesting holiday from a variety of different standpoints because of the way it seems to impact a little bit of everybody, right? We all live here, we all work here, we all play here. For y'all's department, I'm just curious how Earth Day kind of fits in, because I would imagine, considering all the number of trails you have, all the different parks and things, that conservation is such an important part of Chesterfield's kind of outlook on things. I'm just curious, how does Earth Day kind of fit with y'all's department?
Well, every day is Earth Day for us.
That's a really good point.
But you're right. We are a very collaborative organization.
Right.
And we try to focus a lot on what we can do to help the community make better use of the resources that we're entrusted with.
Right.
Earth Day is an opportunity to sort of bring together a culmination of that celebration. But again, as folks come out here and wander around, there's a lot of activities out here that directly fall under us. For example, the Cooperative Extension, the Master Gardener program, that's all part of our community outreach. So again, this is really just a coming home day for us more than anything.
For sure. And to a follow-up to that, I'm always astounded at the amount of parks and trails that there are in this county. How many miles is it of trails?
We're pushing 50 miles of trail, not quite there yet. And then, of course, that doesn't include the additional 50 miles. We have another 100 miles in Pocahontas State Park, which is an 8,000-acre treasure, really, for this community and the region.
Yeah, and I can understand why you said a minute ago that every day is kind of Earth Day for you guys. It kind of is. Now, speaking of fun stuff, I'd be remiss if I had you out here and at this time of year, spring, summer. I can imagine it's about to be your busiest season at Parks and Rec. Lots of stuff going on. I'm just curious, what are some of the things that you want folks to know about that are coming up soon?
Well, we have fun every season, but
I like how you just keep correcting me. I like that. That's the dynamic we got going on.
But so spring, and particularly as we get into summer, is a peak season for us. Our main focus, obviously, as we look to the summer, is our camps and our focus on engaging the youth of this community in summer activities. Again, a lot of those activities are focused around camps that are built around ecology, nature programs. We have outdoor camps. We work, again, through Extension to support the 4-H camp program. So a lot of the summer is focused around that. But we also have wraparound programs, and I'd encourage folks to take a peek at us on the website, or if they're out here today, we still do have a printed program guide, and just take a look at what's coming up for the spring and summer months. A lot of family activities. Again, what we really try to do is take our staff and really focus on making the community engaged with the parks, the trails, the assets that we have under our care.
Real quick, the camp season obviously is about to come. When does registration start? When's that process?
Registration's open now.
It's open now? Okay,
so,
great.
Again, you could go to our website or grab the printed brochure guide, and it'll have all the information about the camps. They do fill up fast.
Yep.
But we have other programs as well. So if you're a family looking for things to do over the summer months, there's a whole range of offerings that we put out there.
Good deal. Well, Neil, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming out.
Appreciate it very much.
All right. So, like I said, today's a big day for education and obviously getting information, whether that's about recycling, whether that's about what's going on in your yard. Neil mentioned Master Gardeners. We talked to Liz earlier. But again, if you want to come on out, we're here till 2 o'clock. We'll be with you for a little bit longer, at least here on Facebook Live. Right now, check out this video on how to properly dispose of pet waste.
Do you know what happens to pet waste when it is left on the ground? Whenever it rains, pet waste and other pollutants are washed into storm drains, which empty straight into streams and other waterways without treatment. Pet waste contains bacteria and other pathogens which can make you sick and harm wildlife. This can make swimming and fishing dangerous. Do you think pet waste is a good fertilizer? Dog waste is a lot more acidic than other animal waste, and it can kill grass. Protect your lawn and local waterways by doing your part. Bag your pet's waste and put it in the trash. For more tips on preventing stormwater pollution, visit our website or call the Department of Environmental Engineering at 804-748-1035.
I'm welcoming Calvin Summer to the show from Community Enhancement. How are we doing, guys?
Good. Doing great.
Appreciate you guys coming by. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into when you're talking about Earth Day. There's a lot that goes into it, right? We're trying to be mindful of what we put into the earth, trying to be mindful about what we put into streams, and also too, we're mindful of litter, right? Clean up, trying to do different things to y'all's department's name to enhance the environment, right? And I'm just curious, Calvin. Let's start with you. Keep Chesterfield Beautiful. Tell me a little bit more about that program and kind of the things that are involved in that.
Yeah, sure. Most people have heard of Keep America Beautiful, and
and down from that, Keep Virginia Beautiful.
Right.
So we're going to tap into that positivity, and
right.
we came up with Keep Chesterfield Beautiful.
Right.
We used to be the anti-litter program. It's kind of a negative connotation.
Right. Yeah.
So
trying to switch it around a bit, be
we
more
wanted to
positive.
Switch it around and be more positive. But yeah, we're a small team that through many avenues help manage the litter problems in the county.
Right. Now, in terms of the cleanups that you guys do you do those? How often do they come? Like, how do those cleanups work?
With litter, we do take complaints, and we have to handle those complaints.
Right.
We use a wonderful volunteer force that helps us get into what I call the nooks and crannies
right.
of the county instead of the major roadways.
Right.
They help us out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We use the sheriff's workforce.
Okay.
And we also, people that need to work off community service hours, we also assign them certain roads to pick up.
Cool. Now, Summer, in terms of like residents, if they want to get involved, if they want to help out, what are some of the ways that they might be able to help out in that endeavor?
That's a good one. We have the Adopt a Spot program.
Okay.
Of course, anyone can go out when they're generally on their walks in their community and take their own bag and pick up litter on their way. But we do provide the materials for that. Calvin actually runs that program.
Okay.
But we deliver litter pickers, vests, tools.
Okay.
And they come and pick up the litter-filled bags.
Right.
The Adopt a Spot program is a grant-funded program. No taxpayer money is going to, is going to this program.
Cool.
And everybody can be involved, even those under 18, with adult sponsorship, so to speak.
Good.
It's very successful.
Yeah.
But we're always trying to recruit more. Always.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was kind of thinking in terms of an event like this. Might be an opportunity to sort of shine a light on that a little bit.
Absolutely.
In terms of community enhancement in general, what are some of the other things that your department is kind of, because I bet you that's one of those that a lot of folks who live in Chesterfield don't have any idea, like this group does these things. What are some of those things that the community enhancement also does?
Well, we're working with what we call community clean-up events. So if neighborhoods reach out to us, and they can do that through the website, they'll see that there's a community cleanup tab on there. Mm-hmm. What we'll do is they fill out a form. We'll meet with them and assess what kind of things their neighborhood needs to just bring it up a little bit.
Right.
It could be as simple as a litter pickup, or we could drop off dumpsters and work with contractors and neighborhood people to help get rid of things that maybe they just kept around their house a little too long.
Yeah, right. And that's something that probably happens to all of us, right? Well, look, guys, thank you very much for joining us today and talking to us a little bit about Keep Chesterfield Beautiful and some of the things that community enhancement does. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brad.
All right, guys, we're almost done here, at least for the Facebook Live portion of it. The event is going to continue on until 2 o'clock. You're gonna, if you saw Calvin's face, you're going to see him again here in this video I want to play for you, talking a little about environmental stewardship.
Actually a very special place. When you think about the history of the Appomattox River, when you think about the settlement that was created in Ettrick, the acquisition that Capital Region Land Conservancy shepherded and have been partnered with the county has helped to acquire about 40 acres. It's an opportunity to take back the land and restore it to more of a natural area while respecting its history, and to give access to the population to be able to come down to the river again. There's a lot of ecology. There's a lot of biodiversity. There's about 500 species that are right in this general area. So the fact that we're able to save this area for the wildlife, bring the public access to it, and interpret the history has so many layers when you think about travelers who will go to destinations to be able to get outdoors. This is the perfect destination site.
I was approached by the county about a walking trail along the river and asked if I would sell them that walking trail. We see eagles down there, we see otter, we see beaver, muskrat, deer, we got bobcat down in there, we got coyotes, you name it, we got it down on that property. And since I've always been an environmentalist and been an outside person, that's only right that we share that. And I've contributed quite a bit to the county for them to be able to purchase it. My wife and I are just overjoyed that all the citizens of Chesterfield County will be able to enjoy something that we, as a family, have probably enjoyed for the last 35, 40 years.
So we're using what's called a power purchase agreement, which is a contract to install solar panels on our facilities. And so far we have 16 facilities identified for solar panels. And what that does will allow us to offset some of the energy costs. The good thing about this project is that there's no upfront cost. The vendor is supplying the panels, and if there's any maintenance that needs to be done, really a great win-win opportunity for us to be able to help with the sustainability program, but also be able to get electricity at a cheaper cost. And also, it's a clean energy source. There's no carbon emissions from it. We're capturing the sun. It aligns with our environmental sustainability and stewardship program. It's the right thing to do, and it's a great educational opportunity.
So the LG Sonic unit, it's a technology that's been developed to help us monitor and control blue-green algae. So what it does is it has sensors on it that allow us to get real-time data on water quality. In addition to that, it also sends out ultrasound at specific frequencies to prevent the blue-green algae from overgrowing. Because blue-green algae can cause taste and odors, and they can also cause microtoxins in the water. So to try to control them is to the benefit of Chesterfield County. The unit that we got this year is special in the fact that it can go up and down the water column. It can go down all the way down to the bottom of the reservoir. So being able to go throughout the water column gives us a better picture of what's going on with blue-green algae. It's called vertical profiling. And this is actually the first one that's been installed in the United States.
I coordinate the Adopt a Spot program where volunteers can sign up to pick small sections of roadway, a neighborhood, to help keep litter cleaned up. We'll supply bags, vests, and the grabbers. We'll even collect the bags after they pick it up. It just helps. It keeps litter out of the drain, keeps our stormwaters clean. Anything that's thrown out in the street and the roadways heading to some kind of water source, we want to keep it out of the rivers and the streams. I really enjoy when the volunteers take pride in their own communities. Working with the public in that aspect is very rewarding. To help control the litter throughout the county, in 2022, the programs we managed collected over 130 tons of litter and debris. I thought that was a pretty significant number.
From all of us here in Chesterfield, thanks very much for making us part of your day. We'll see you again real soon. Take good care.